I'm Haley from Gallifrey Public Radio, a Doctor Who fandom podcast and part of the Gonna Geek network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture.
Captain's log supplemental.
PopXcast.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Excelsior!
All right, and welcome everyone. This is PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. I'm your host, Joseph Burke, and what is up, Austin Burke, my co-host with the mostest.
Joe, I'm happy to be here today, man.
Did you like that?
Very diverse show. We have DC, we have superheroes, we have sci-fi. A lot of things coming at you guys tonight.
A lot of things coming. It's really crazy. Like we're going to be talking about Alita, Battle Angel, which is going to be kind of cool. It's like James Cameron. Somehow he's a fan of manga, and he made. How does that work? What's that all about?
It's crazy.
I don't know, but it's a really cool movie. So we're going to be talking about that in detail. Austin Burke, how have you been since we last seen you?
Man, great. I loved our last show. Just been rolling out the YouTube videos and working a little bit, but it's nice to come in and kind of hash out our thoughts and feelings about all of this casting stuff going on in the DC universe. So
I
I'm
agree.
excited for that.
I am too. Now, you had something really cool happen this past Saturday. Now, before we get into the show, tell people what just happened.
Oh, man, it was... What an experience, and Joe, you were a part of it. So what I did is I got a bunch of YouTube critics all around YouTube, probably around 24 or 25 of them. Joe was a part of that crew, and what they did is they presented the winners for what I called the Flick Fan Awards, which was kind of my version of the Oscars, where I nominated movies that I believe should have been nominated for the categories that are a part of the Oscars and some extra categories, and then you guys voted. I had 500 to 600 votes in every category, and it was just a great show, great personalities, so much fun.
600 votes?
600 votes, man, and I actually think I could have gotten more because my voting system was a bit difficult. I've actually found an easier way. So next year it's going to be a lot simpler, but 600 votes, man, you can't count that out. And so I look at that and I say, the winners, that's pretty, I'm okay with 600 votes because that means a lot of diverse people, different ethnicities, different backgrounds are voting. So I like those results. And Avengers Infinity War was the big winner of the night with 6 awards and Best Flick of 2008.
And Best Villain.
Oh, and Best Villain, and that was Joe's category. Joe, man, thank you for doing that.
You're
That
welcome,
was
bro. It was such an
awesome.
honor to do that, dude. And me and Alex were watching it live on the stream here. It was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie
It
to
was
you.
awesome, dude.
It was pretty
It was
cool,
awesome.
man. So, well, congratulations on your first ever Fan Flick Awards.
Thank you, buddy.
Flick
I
Fan
appreciate
Awards.
that.
Flick Fan Awards. I got it. There it is.
No, it's okay. Later. Give it a couple years, baby. It's
Give
gonna
it-
be bigger than the Oscars. Okay?
Yeah, oh, Lord help him, Jesus. But, well, that's cool, man. Not much is going on in my world. We went to Walt Disney World last weekend, which was kind of fun. I mean, when you're in Disney, you're in Disney. So there's that. So
That's always a good time.
dude, it's always a great time when you're at Disney World. I mean, come on. It's Walt Disney World. You know what I'm
and
saying?
I can't wait to see you this summer, man. We're going to reunite.
And so is it happening?
It's happening.
Oh,
God. Yeah, we got to do another collab on here, another pop. We've got to push some stuff out, and I cannot wait to come down there, man.
That's
I'm
awesome,
so,
bro.
So pumped.
I'm glad. Well, you ready to kick this show off? Episode 90?
Let's get into
What?
it, man.
Episode 90? Oh my gosh. All right. Hey guys, welcome to PopX, where science fiction meets pop culture. I'm your host, Joseph Burke, Central Florida's seasoned comic book nerd and retro enthusiast. Now, we'd like to welcome everyone joining us right now over on the Facebook Live and PopX.live chat rooms. For all other geeky, crazy, cool things, come on over and check out PopXcast.com. Now, if this is your first time tuning into PopX, for the first 20 minutes of the show, we usually go over what we call the Geek Headlines. It's the headlines from the past week. We catch you up on what's going, what's trending, what's hot, what's on social media hashtags, all that good stuff. And we kind of run it down in this segment. And then we get into the show topic about around the halfway point. So if you're first time tuning in, you're like, why ain't he talking about Alita Battle? Patience, Jedi. We will get to it. We'll get there, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, actually. But the entire show is entertaining, and I am Austin Burke, the Appalachian Geek at heart. Be sure to head over to Google Play or iTunes after the show. Click the subscribe button and catch up on some amazing shows from the PopX archive. And while you're there, we would certainly appreciate you guys showing us some love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review. And if you missed episode 89, where we talked about Aquaman, a little DC, Punisher Season 2, a little Marvel, check our official website at PopXcast.com for this and other great past shows from the PopX's collective archive of geek goodness.
Gravy. Love it. All right, let's roll into some PopX news. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Extra, read all about it. This is PopX News.
What in the world?
Coming to you live right here on PopXcast.com.
Oh, Mike. I love you, Mike. He never ceases to amaze me, I'm telling you. All right, so kicking us off this week on the PopX News headlines, we have Sunday night was a big night for Marvel Studios at the Oscars. I don't know. Did you watch? You tweeted live during the Oscars. What the heck am I saying?
Did like video, man. I was all
dude. You were
that
like all over that, like stank on it. Never mind. But it was really cool though. I didn't watch the show. I got to be honest with you. I used to watch it when I was younger, but they got into this weird time where they were just like not honoring movies that I was interested in. Does that make sense? So I've kind of strayed away. And now that I heard that this was one of the biggest rating of the Oscars Academy Awards that there has ever been, because I guess there was no host, right?
Yes. And let me say this. It flowed a lot better without a host.
Really?
A lot better.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as you may or may not know, Black Panther won 3 Oscars: Best Original Score, Best Costume Design, and Best Production Design. Now, the first Academy Awards ever for Marvel Studios brings home the gold and the Oscar. That is pretty cool. Now, fortunately, fans were disappointed that it was snubbed for Best Picture. But, however, another win for comic book movies was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, overthrowing Incredibles 2 and taking home the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. Austin Burke, what do you have to say about these two films bringing home the glory?
As they should have. Listen, I saw some people on Twitter saying, Black Panther's overrated, it's overblown, it's blah, blah, blah. Listen, I liked Infinity War better, I liked Spider-Verse better, so would I have put them over Black Panther for Best Picture? Absolutely, but let's look at the fact that there is a comic book movie nominated for Best Picture. That is crazy. And the awards that it won, costumes, production design, original score, it deserved those awards. Because
I agree.
All of those elements of the film were incredible. And then Spider-Verse, easy for me. I think this is the biggest margin in years. And listen, I'm a guy who has Incredibles 2 in my top 20 of last year. I freaking love that movie, man. But Spider-Verse is just... it is slowly turning into one of my favorite animated movies of all time. And I think I've changed my vote. It is now my favorite movie of last year. Number 1.
Over Infinity War?
Over Infinity War.
Well, now, how did you come to that conclusion?
So I went back and I watched it again.
Okay.
And I love Infinity. It's my number 2.
Yeah.
And I love it. But the way that Spider-Verse did something that we have never seen before, whether you're talking about animation style, implementing what we love about the comic books, new characters, and the fact that one complaint that I heard about Infinity War that I'm like, I don't agree, but I get it, is that there was just so much going on. It felt a little bit choppy. And I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
With Spider-Verse, you have just as many heroes in every single story. The way they handle all of the origins and coming together, it flowed beautifully.
It flowed very well.
This movie is a triumph in animation. Rotten Tomato score 98, 99%, Metacritic score 80. You will never see another animated Marvel movie as well received as this. This was phenomenal, and I actually think it got snubbed for a Best Picture nomination as well because it was phenomenal.
Well, I love the soundtrack. to
Oh my
Spider-Man.
God.
There was days I've played the soundtrack on loop for like 4 times in a row. It's just
Sunflower, man, that song is
yeah.
fantastic.
Sunflower. Anyway, all
So
right.
good.
Speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, I think you got some news for us about that, right?
All right, so here's the new news. Rotten Tomatoes has integrated a new rating system, Joe. And I know we talked about this a little bit before we went on air. There have been so many trolls coming at movies like Captain Marvel and Star Wars Episode 9, not just saying, oh, I don't want to see this. That's fine. If you don't want to see a movie, that's fine, even though half of it was crap. They are giving it a 1 out of 5 or a half star out of 5 before they even see the film. So Rotten Tomatoes came out and said, you know what, this is not, I don't know why they didn't do this 2 years ago, because it happened to Black Panther too.
Oh yeah. What
This is
happened? It
crap.
happened to Avengers and all these other movies.
Yeah, dude, Last Jedi
Yeah.
was the most it ever, that was 3,000 people lowered the actual audience score to a less than fresh rating. And from there, I think it was a mob mentality against that movie. People just said, oh,
Wow.
audiences don't like it. It's clearly not very good. And now you have the most divisive Star Wars movie of all time. So Rotten Tomatoes finally came out and said, we're not going to allow people to vote until after a movie comes out. And even then, people are still going to go and give it 1 star and whatever. But at least this is a stepping stone. At least they are trying to do something. And I appreciate that, Joe. What are your thoughts on this situation?
You know, I like you said, Austin. I think it's definitely overdue. I think it's really long overdue for. I mean, just, dude, they've tried so many, and a lot of it are people that are just anti-Marvel. They can't stand Marvel, and it's just, I don't know, DC fanboys. I don't know what it is, but it's very unfair in the way, and it doesn't really reflect anything that's going on within the film. It just shows how stupid people can be. You know, the insensitivity of others. And I'm just really glad that Rotten Tomatoes has finally gotten the hint, like, hey, we might want to redo this. Sounds like they're finally getting on board with it. So
yeah, because audience scores, and I've never really counted on audience scores, but they used to be semi-reliable. I'm like, oh, I'm looking at this audience score on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, but now it's just, and even when you give a movie a 5 out of 5 that you haven't seen yet, that's not fair. You have to see the movie. Like when The Dark Knight came out and like 2,000 people went on IMDb and said, give it 5 out of 5, give it 5, even if you haven't seen it, give it 5 out of 5 so we can push it up. That's not fair. And that's my favorite movie of all time.
No.
That is not fair. Watch the freaking movie before you rate it.
Well, you know, speaking of Rotten Tomatoes movies and all of this crazy stuff, I don't know if this is late breaking, but it could be. Sean over in the PopX chat room is talking to us right now, our beloved faithful listener, one of our many. And he said that just coming over the wire that the Disney-Fox deal will be official on March the 8th, which is the launching date for Captain Marvel. Coincidence? I don't think so. So does this mean that there'll be a Wolverine cameo at the end?
Dude, I'm
Come on, bub.
legitimate- And if not Captain Marvel, then Avengers. Imagine the post-credit scene of Avengers Endgame showing Reed Richards, I don't know, or just even a telecast of what happens to them in space to how they get their powers. Just,
Yeah, something.
I would die. I would pass out.
I would be done. I would probably cry like a baby. Be like, it's so beautiful.
I can't fathom.
Anyway,
man.
moving on. So the future of the Arrowverse on the CW is shaping up to be a very exciting, but we're likely in for a lot of major changes when Crisis on Infinite Earths takes over later this year. Now, we know that it's coming. It was teased in last year's crossover event. A new report suggests that these series will likely end after this event, including the flagship show Arrow, the time-traveling team-up show Legend of Tomorrow, Supergirl. Supergirl may be on the chopping block and replaced by Tyler Hoechlin's Superman series. Now, Warner Brothers is said to be unhappy, and if things continue, may end the series altogether. So, canceled?
You know what cracks me up?
What?
We're canceling the Supergirl show to bring in a Superman show, and we're canceling Superman in the live-action universe to bring in a Supergirl. What are you doing?
I don't think they know what they're doing, dude.
No.
They have no idea what they're doing. It doesn't make sense. I mean, you can have two supers within the same verse, and it's not going to make a... Is there some kind of clause that they can't have two super... I don't know.
Honestly...
It's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
That's a great point, though, because now that we don't have a live-action Superman, they said they're holding off on that for a while.
Yeah.
they're now making a show about him, and now that they're getting a live-action Supergirl, they're kind of writing her out. Like that's a great point. Maybe they're only allowed to have each for a limited amount of time.
Let me be on the record here, and please, if you're a fan of Tyler, that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of Tyler as
he's
Superman.
fine.
He's all right. He's okay.
He's a dude.
It's all right. It's just anyway. All right, Austin, you're up.
Well, I'm right there with. He's okay, but no. So let's keep talking about DC.
Yeah.
While Warner Brothers Pictures and DC Comics continue to move forward with plans for their superhero movie franchises, sort of, fans are curious about the state of The Flash with Justice League star Ezra Miller. So after news that a delay of Fantastic Beasts 3, which makes sense, might also push back Barry Allen's solo movie, some have speculated that the film is in big trouble of ever happening. But in a recent interview, Miller made it clear that he's devoted to making this film happen. Okay, anyone who knows anything about Barry Allen knows that he's always late. But then when he arrives, he gets stuff done. That's definitely how this film's production schedule will be proceeding. We're a little late, Miller explained, but the reason why we are late is that this is the honest God truth. We're all, and I included myself in this, we are very meticulously focused on making a movie that's not just one of the greatest superhero movies we can possibly make. This movie is also going to be a gift to the fans. So that statement has me a little bit excited. Yeah, I don't really trust where he's coming from because he's an actor, and the actors usually know no inside information on how a movie's getting made. But I like that sense of confidence, and I hope he keeps that as they make this film.
I think we've seen the trend with Wonder Woman and Aquaman and all of that, with the backstory and giving us that origin story that we all need going forward. I think to tell the Flash's story, you'll have to do the backstory with Jay Garrick leading up to Barry Allen, because Jay Garrick has been part of the Flash verse, if you will, for 40, 50 years before Barry Allen even came on board. So there has to be a point in the divide and the ripple of time to where you have both Flashes, and then the torch is passed to Ezra Miller's character. So hopefully we get to see something like that. We get to see, Jay Garrick come out and do his thing.
I'm always of the mind that Ezra Miller should never have been Barry Allen. He strikes me more of a Wally West, if he, of course,
he looks like a Wally West. Yeah,
he looks like a Wally West, and his personality. Wally West is just more fun and upbeat. Barry Allen has always been more of a, you look at the one in the TV show, I have to get this done. This is the way it is. A little bit more serious, not completely, but I would have liked that casting. But Ezra Miller, he loves this character. You can tell that. Yeah. So I hope he keeps that confidence going forward.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. True that. I hope it does happen for our sake, because we're fans of The Flash.
Me too.
All right, so moving on here. After taking on the roles of both Jerome and Jeremiah Valeska, Gotham star Cameron Monaghan made it clear heading into the show's final season that he had one more evolution to go through before his third and final character arrived. Now, each has taken on a different part of the Joker, and this third iteration would go even further into more of an iconic character's mythos. Finally, after weeks of teasing this next step in the creation of Batman's arch nemesis, Gotham delivered on its promise: make way for the rise of the Joker. On the last episode of Gotham, Ace Chemicals, the series, went to the unofficial birthplace of the Joker. After trying to recreate the death of Bruce's parents, Jeremiah and the future Dark Knight got into a fight on the catwalk of the chemical plant right above the enormous vat of glowing green ooze. Every Batman fan knew exactly where the scene was going as soon as it started. Yes.
I am very behind on this show, but if there is one piece of news that is going to come out that makes me want to see this, it is this.
It's definitely this.
So, are you do you know anything about this right now?
I'm caught up. I'm halfway through the last season.
Okay.
I mean, I'm decently caught up, but it's just finding time to sit down and actually watch these shows. I need to catch up on Walking Dead. I need to catch up on Gotham. I'm way behind on Arrow and Flash. So, I mean, it's just we talked about this on previous podcasts, that the oversaturation of the market might lead to kind of a little bit of a bottleneck for fans. I think we're getting to that point.
I agree. I'm a little worried because, it's great that we have all this. However many years ago, all we had was Smallville, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
We were seeing Dr. Fate on screen,
Lois
like,
and
oh my
Clark
God.
with Dean Cain.
Yeah, and that was it, though. And
was
now it seems like every 5 minutes there's a new show announcement, and fans just can't keep up. And
No.
give it 2 years, people may be, oh, well, there's just too much. And I don't want that to happen. Like the Western genre disappeared for a few years just because there was such an oversaturation. I don't want that to happen to comic book movies and television. So I hope people understand that they can pick and choose and they don't have to shut it all out.
Well, look, I mean, you had like Gunsmoke and The Lone Ranger, and just Lassie was even considered a Western to some people.
Yes.
And, yeah, I get it. So I'm fearful that all these networks are doing these shows and they're starting to drop off.
I agree, man. I completely agree. But I hope fans continue to support comic books, because without that, we don't have a show.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So moving on, the rumors surrounding Sony and the PlayStation 5 have
boy,
been circling the gaming world for months, and with many of them pointing the possibility of backwards compatibility being one of the featured modes on the future console. Of course, nothing has been confirmed as of yet, but a recent patent filled by Sony may be the best hint at the highly requested functionality that we've seen. We've seen a handful of rumors and patents that may point to a PlayStation 5 having backwards compatibility, but this one really looks like the console will contain this specific feature, which I know is something fans have been asking for a long time. According to the summary, the patent is for simulation of legacy bus operation for backward compatibility. Now, Joe, you're the man when it comes to video games. Explain this to me. Why has this been so requested?
Okay, so when fans got the PlayStation 1, this is when the discs were black, okay?
Okay.
That was generation 1. PlayStation 2 came out, and PlayStation 2 would play a handful or some of the PlayStation 1 games, okay? And so the hardware and the components inside the PS2 was able to play, okay? So they was like, okay, we'll do that. PS3 came out. When the PlayStation 3 came out, there was only limited models in the United States. And if you got a certain model, they only produced, I want to say like 200,000. That number, don't even hold me to that number, but it's a low number. And if you didn't get one of these PS3 models when it first came out with the backwards capability, you wouldn't be able to play PS2 or PS1 games on your PS3. Sony itched it out when they made the PS3. When PS3 started picking up momentum in sales, they released a second version just a few months right after it released, which kind of overpopulated the old version that was backwards capable. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that old version is almost not like a collector's item. If you can find one of the original PS3s that's backward compatible for PS2, it's like the gold nugget for video games. It's worth a lot of money.
Wow.
Fast forward to PS4. When we get to PS4 just totally disbanded everything on PS3, PS2, PS1. You can't play anything. And PS4 launched its own streaming service, and you can go back and buy those games for a nominal fee. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like what Nintendo Switch did with their online network.
I don't like that.
Same thing. So basically, PS4 cannot play a PS2 disc or a PS3 disc or any of that. It doesn't have... Each of these systems and consoles has its own mechanics and engines and software that runs. And for them to include all that components in one machine for all 4 versions has up until now has been technically impossible. But as technology has advanced, the PS5 is going to have. I mean, you think of it like a Raspberry Pi, no bigger than that.
Yeah.
That can play PS3 games and PS2 games.
Yeah.
Nominally, something that small can do that. So we're at the point now where the microchips and the processors are so small that they have enough processing power to be able to make those frames work on the PS2 and the PS1.
Wow.
And so that, when you look at the diagram, you see Legacy Bus Model 201 and Legacy Bus Behavior Data. That's allocation chips that actually store the data and actually are able to read the PS2 and PS1 discs.
Dang. So,
yes.
Reading the story, I'm like, I get it. I see why fans want it. What you just said, this is massive.
It's huge, and I don't think there's ever been a console that has been 100% backwards compatible. Now, I'm not familiar with Xbox. I don't know what Xbox. I know you got Xbox 360, Xbox One, all that. I'm not an Xbox gamer, so I can't speak for Microsoft, but I can speak in for Sony. Because I know Sony, because I have all 4 consoles. Well, I have consoles all the way back to the Atari 2600. Wow. So as a retro gamer, I can understand why fans could get excited about seeing this patent diagram being submitted.
That is crazy. Yeah, that is massive. And
here's the cool thing, though, Austin. When you come in June, I will actually show you. I have every one of my original PS1, PS2, and PS3 video games. I never traded none of them away. So I got games I was playing when I was in high school. You were running around in diapers.
Get that little bit, and that PS1's gonna be worth some money because at that point,
I got Resident Evil 1 and 2, the originals. So, but anyway, we're getting off topic. We're getting off topic.
That's cool.
But I'm pretty excited for that, and we all know that PS5 is coming soon. So I'm pretty excited for that, just to see the backwards compatibility and see what all kinds of, PS4 is amazing. I'm playing Call of Duty Blackout right now, and Black Ops 4, and it's stunning. Yeah. And I could not imagine what they're going to be doing with PS5.
5K.
I don't know. 8K? I don't know.
Yeah.
But all right, moving on with the last news of the week here, and then we're going to move into our main topics. After quickly swimming to the top of the DC box office totals, Aquaman sequel is officially on the way. Wow, this is news to me. Not only has the follow-up to James Wan's blockbuster been confirmed by Warner Brothers, but the film has a release date. Aquaman has been slated for December the 16th, 2022. Hypothetically.
That's so far away.
That is way too far away.
Seriously, that is...
Here's what bothers me. We only have Wonder Woman coming out this year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So...
And Shazam.
Okay.
And Shazam.
It's Shazam. I forgot about Shazam. You corrected me. I stand corrected. But here's the problem, though. In order to fill in the gap in those 3 years, we got to have some Batman. We got to have some Superman. We got to have...
It's a great point. What are they? Because this is their trump card right now, man. This is one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
This is DC Comics' Black Panther film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody thought it would do it. It did it. Made all the money in the world.
Exactly like Black Panther.
The sequel's coming 4 years from now? Okay.
Thanks, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, thanks.
Kind of sounds like that when they released Gambit. They said they were going to do a Gambit film for Marvel, and it looks like never materialized. Or wait a minute, New Mutants.
Yeah.
I'm still holding my breath. Now on Hulu, New Mutants. Anyway.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There ain't no way we're getting New Mutants this year.
No,
unless it's on a streaming service.
I'd be surprised if they drop Dark Phoenix on.
Oh, hey, 3 hours from now. Now, here's when you know a studio does not believe in a movie.
Oh, gosh.
When they drop the trailer at midnight. That's when they're dropping the trailer tonight. Midnight.
For Dark Phoenix?
For Dark Phoenix. Maybe it's tomorrow night. It's either tonight or tomorrow night. But they're dropping it at midnight. What?
No Good Morning America release or anything like that?
No prime time, no middle of the day. They're like, no, we're going to do it when everybody's asleep.
Well, that's quite lovely, isn't it?
That's marketing, man.
All right. Well, that's wrapping it up for news this week, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we're going to get kicked on into now our main topic of the week. And we're going to be talking really briefly on Alita Battle Angel. Now, before we roll into this, we got to roll the spoiler alert warning because we're going to be giving away a little bit of information about Alita Battle Angel that if you haven't seen the film, you might want to hit the pause button on the audio player, on the video player, go watch the film, and then come back and pick up where you left off, okay? But this is going to be a spoiler alert warning. So beyond this point, you have been warned.
Danger. You are about to enter a PopX spoiler alert. Beyond this point, there is no return. You have been warned.
You have been warned. All right, Alita Battle Angel. Man, I'm going to take the reins on this one because I'm going to start out first on this one. I went in, I'm just now starting to tip the iceberg on manga. As a medium and trying to understand the characters and the way of animation and just the cultural aspect of manga and how it's impacted Japanese culture, okay? Yeah. having said that, I got into Alita Battle Angel, and I've not read the comics, but Mike over here has. And so he's going to come on here in a minute, and he's going to talk a little bit about how the comics match up with the film. So I thought it was really interesting. It was kind of interesting how James Cameron, who created Avatar, who have the large eyes, created another character with enlarged eyes. Yeah. Now, mind you, Alita Battle Angel, her likeness is that of the manga. If you've seen the actual drawings of her, they do have the enlarged eyes. It's just a kind of a cultural icon for manga. The big the animation eyes. But within the first 4 or 5 minutes, it was awkward at first to look at, but within the first couple of minutes, it just totally just vanished, and I didn't really think about it. And she was a character, not a well done CGI. Oh my gosh, CGI on this film is insane. Stunning, even. And I will say this much: the character is so compelling. You feel so compassionate towards her, just trying to understand who she is and what she is, and her purpose and her longing, and then you have her creator, I guess, or the one that finds her in the scrapyard and rebuilds her together. It was just a really nice story, just to kind of see how that dynamic unfolded between almost father and daughter, if you will. And just to kind of see her come into her own and understand that, oh my gosh, I got this body, I can do all these crazy things. And then she finds out, she's actually archetype battle angel, and she's from the world upstairs, which is basically this floating universe above this planet. And it was really interesting. The concept was beautiful. I thought rewatchability, yes, times 1,000. This is a film that I could probably go back and watch and pick something out different each and every time, because there's just so much detail. It's almost like the Japanese version of Ready Player One. And I'm cautious to say that. I'm cautious to say that, but there's a journey that you have to go on as the viewer. There's moments of elation and happiness, and there's moments of sadness. There's moments of victory and triumph. There's moments of real, true sorrow, and you can feel it. It's very palpable in the theater. And I think James Cameron just did a phenomenal job with this film. And I probably will have to pick this up on 4K just to see the visuals, because this film is just so beautiful done. And I left the theater feeling shocked. I was like, dang, that was a good film. Yeah. It totally blew me away. Totally didn't expect it. I was like, all right, this is James Cameron's version of Japanese manga, whatever. And I came out of the theater and I was like, what in the world did I just watch? That was crazy. Austin Burke, what do you think?
I was not excited for this movie because I saw the trailers and I didn't like the trailers. I thought they were bad. I thought this movie looked bad. I thought James Cameron, this is his baby. He's been executive producing this from day one, and of course he's too busy with Avatar. So Robert Rodriguez came in and directed, but it's a Cameron movie. You can feel his touch in every scene. But I'm the same way as you. 5 minutes in, I was really bothered by the eyes in the trailer. Didn't bother me in the movie. I was really bothered by the dialogue in the trailer, and there are some things in the film I'm like, that's not very good. But the majority of it really worked, and you mentioned it, the relationship with Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz.
He talks like this.
He does.
And he's so intense when he does. But he's an Oscar-winning actor, and this movie's full of Oscar-winning actors. You have Mahershala Ali, Christoph Waltz. They're everywhere.
Christoph, one of my favorite roles is in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh my God, man!
Holy cow!
I think one of the best villain performances of the last 2 decades.
Oh my God, he is. Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yes.
But anyway, continue on.
Yes. No, go see that movie and Django Unchained. He's a great actor, and I think he's the reason, really, why that relationship works so well. It's that father-daughter thing. But then you get into the visuals, and I watched this in IMAX 3D. And maybe it enhanced my experience, but my Lord, this is visually stunning. A beautiful, and a lot of the times, now, when I've seen 3D and didn't like it, it's never an IMAX, because anytime I see IMAX 3D, I enjoy it. But it's funny because the last film that I saw in 3D, not IMAX, was Ghost in the Shell, which was another anime adaptation.
It was.
And the 3D in that film was horrible. It darkened everything. You could tell what was going on. It was nasty. This film was beautiful, man. The 3D was great. The visuals, the floating city, all of the action. Let's talk about the battle in the arena.
Oh, man.
My Lord. Well, that was
insane.
awesome.
It's so intense.
And like I said, I did not anticipate enjoying myself this much. Now, do I have issues with some of the characters, like the group of friends? I didn't care about
Yeah,
those
they were
guys
kind of
at
cliche,
all.
weren't they?
They were very cliche, and
Yeah.
and certain characters pop up, and I think they kind of wasted Mahershala Ali. He was in and out so quick. He'd come back, and then you cut away from him for 20 minutes. But Rosa Salazar as Alita is maybe my favorite performance of the year so far. She is amazing. This girl is going to be a star. She's so lovable in this film, and she's doing motion capture the entire time. And that's
Insane.
It reminds me of how I feel about Thanos. You connect with him, you hate him, you despise him because of the performance. Same thing with this. And because of those reasons, man, I was very thoroughly surprised because I expected not to like this movie, and I walked out saying, you know what? I had a great time in the theater, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to watch it again because
Same.
there's just visual splendor, and that's what you want in a film. So I really
Did,
enjoyed
did
it.
you notice that the Watchmen's very own Jackie Earl Haley, who played Rorschach, was the big giant villain in it? Did you know that? That was Jackie
No.
Earl Haley, dude.
Dude, you're oh my god.
That was all motion capture. The big, I can't remember his name. He was the big Goliath looking
Yeah,
battle
the man
bot.
with the
Yeah, the
chain.
tentacles. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, man. I didn't know that. I've not even looked at the cast list.
Actually, here's the thing. Me and Mike watched this film together. Mike was down here last week. And Mike was reading the credits. He said, holy crap, that's Jackie Earl Haley. And I'm like, what?
Dude, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's impressive, though. That
It is.
That guy can disappear, and my goodness, he disappeared. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So, I mean, it's really awesome. And so if you think about how good this film is, imagine what the next iteration of Avatar is going to be like.
Oof, you do, man.
No,
Listen,
dude.
people try to come up to me and say, well, Avatar is overrated. And then, you know, sure, story wasn't the best. If you're talking visually, get out of here. I want to
Beautiful.
Get out of here, man, because that film revolutionized 3D and technology and CGI, and it opened up a brand new
Motion
way
capture,
to make
too.
movies. And it made $2.7 billion. It's still the highest grossing movie of all time, even
It is.
after Avengers Infinity War. So, yeah, man,
Yeah.
can't wait to see another one.
Mike, are you around? Do you want to share anything about the correlation between comic books and the actual film that we saw? Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll be quick. I'm a little under the weather here, so I'll make it quick. I mean, pretty much I'm not going to repeat everything that you guys said because I was about the same. I was going in with low expectations and loved the movie, so that's my quick thought on that. But as far as once I did see it and I enjoyed it, actually I did go back and see it a second time.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, and then in between that time, I did buy the comics. I read the first volume, which ties into the movie, and it's pretty much on point. There was a couple variations of the characters. The large characters, Gruiska, that's the big, large Jackie Earl Haley character.
Okay.
But he's a different name in the comics, and it was a little bit out of sequence where she wears the berserker suit before she fights him, but then it was after that in the movie. So it's just it. But as far as the visuals of the city, Zalem, it's identically out of the comics.
Is it really?
To the T, it's out of the comics.
That's awesome.
And it's just a little difficult to read the comics because you kind of like, for what we're used to reading, we kind of read it backwards. It's right to left on the manga comics, and you read the panels right to left as well. So it takes some getting used to read it. So, but the first volume that I've read so far is pretty much the tie-in to the movie.
Wow.
The villain from the comics is a little different, and it's a little more, I guess, gory in the comics, which they wouldn't have put on in the movie to get the rating that they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the rewatchability is very high. I'll definitely watch it again.
Yeah, I
for a
think
third time.
one of the villains in the comics is a brain eater. He eats brains.
And that's
Yeah.
the Gruishka
Yeah.
character in the movie.
Yeah.
And he's called, I can't think off the top of my head in the comics, but yeah, he eats brains and steal babies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty
So,
gory. It's pretty
yeah,
graphic.
it's kind of a mess. So I can see I guess it had a PG-13 rating, so anything more than that, I'm sure it would have affected the rating. But
Cool.
But yeah, the movie to me was very interesting, and I was motivated to now read the comics. And it's not like our typical comics here. You get a couple words per panel, opposed to like we have a lot of interaction per panel in our comics, Marvel or DC. But this is, I mean, the first volume was like 294 pages, and I was done in 30 minutes.
Wow.
So if you're doing a whole lot of reading, there's more. You
It's
absorb
more
of the
visual.
imagery,
Yeah.
more visual. You absorb the visual than you would. You'd understand more of the visual than to read exactly what was going on.
Wow. I think that's the difference between American comics and Japanese, because Japanese focuses a lot on that depth of the animation, that depth of the illustration. You can tell the story in the drawing and the artwork without actually ever having to use a bubble, you know.
And it's all sketched. There's no color, nothing. It's all
really?
black and white. Yeah.
Wow.
And you have the bubble where you get like a few words in it, but you can go 4 or 5 panels or even 4 or 5 pages without a single word. But the amount of detail in the drawings is just unbelievable.
Insane. Well, Mike, while you're here, we're just going to go ahead and give a quick review of it, and we'll rate it the PopX way. I'll go first, and I'm going to give the initial number that I thought when I was coming out of the theater on a 1 to 10 scale. It's a 8.2 for me. I thought that it was, anything above an 8 for me is definitely rewatchability for sure. And owning the film when it comes out, I think, is going to be a huge thing too, because just like Ready Player One, which is one of my favorite films that's come out last year, this kind of feels like this year's Ready Player One in a way for me. And so I'm really excited to be able to watch this. I'm not going to watch it in the theaters again. I'm going to wait till it drops on 4K, and then I'm going to watch it again on the TV back here on the 70 inch. So Austin, what's your review of?
As a guy who expected to give this like a 4 out of 10, I'm very surprised that I'm going to give it a 7.2 actually.
Okay.
And which is one of the higher scores for me this year. It's a movie I can't wait to go back and rewatch and see if the things that bothered me still bother me, or just see if the visuals bump up my score even more, because I think that could be the case. That was semi the case with Ready Player One for me. I liked it even more the second time, and I feel like that could be the case with this. But overall, a very good surprise, man. One of the better ones of the year.
Awesome. Mike, what are you going to give this
one? I'm going to go with 8.5.
8.5? Nice.
I mean, as far as the motion capture, I wouldn't be surprised if they used the same motion capture house as they did for Ready Player One. It was on point as Ready Player One was. So
it was.
But I think it was a good story, and going in with a lower expectation. Even that's what the trailer kind of destroyed it. I'm going, this movie looks kind of weird. I think I'll go see it anyway.
Yeah, the trailer didn't really accurately portray the film.
It wasn't what I expected it to be. That's what kind of
exactly
made it good, because it looks kind of very weird, with the big eyes and all that nonsense.
Yeah. Again, it's another instance where you never judge a book by the cover. You never judge a movie by the trailer.
Go see a movie, man. Just
go see a movie. Yeah. Yes. Enjoy yourself and be entertained. That's the whole point. So we got 8.2, 8.5, and we have a 7.2 from Austin. That is the PopX official score from Alita Battle Angel. It is playing in cinemas now, so if you have a cinema and you're looking for something near you, and you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, take your kids out. And it's a PG-13 film, and I think there was only like 1 or 2 cuss words in the whole film, so it definitely gets Joe's 2 thumbs up for language and replayability for the little ones. So it's pretty awesome. Now, moving into the other second portion of this show, we're going to be talking about something that's we were just hinting about DC Comics. We were just hinting about it. But now we're going to dive into it. We heard in the past couple of weeks that Henry Cavill, and of course we all know the story with Ben Affleck, dropping out of the DCEU. Ben Affleck went on to, I believe it was Stephen Colbert this past week, or was it Jimmy... Was it Jimmy Kimmel? Jimmy Kimmel, and officially announced the resolution with his role as Bruce Wayne. And it does suck, because you know what? I actually kind of liked Affleck as Batman. He had the physique, he had just the grit that it needed for the role.
Never had the right movie, man.
He never had the right movie. That's the problem. Yeah. He looked awesome in the cape and cowl, though.
God, man, one of the better looking Batman and Batman suits I think we've ever. It had a Dark Knight Returns vibe to it, and I like that. Yeah, indeed.
So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to discuss in a little bit of detail Team PopX's picks for who is going to play Superman and Batman in the future films. Now, these lists, we're only going to be doing 3 each, okay, for Batman and for Superman. So these lists reflect who we think is in the industry and who we think is going to be a really good candidate to come up and maybe step up to the mantle of Man of Steel and The Dark Knight. So with that said, I'm going to go first and lead us off. And my first pick for Superman is going to be Michael B. Jordan. Yes.
Man.
Now, I'm a huge fan of Michael B. Jordan as in Creed, and I loved him in Black Panther. Loved his role in Black Panther. And I think, when we think about Michael B. Jordan as the actor and as just how seasoned he is, and if you've seen Creed and Creed 2, dude, this dude has got some amazing acting chops. It's insane. But here's why I picked Michael B. Jordan. Now, a lot of people's like, man, it's a black Superman. Well, let me school you, shall I?
Yeah.
Let's pull some stuff back from DC Comics from yesteryear. We have a couple of slides here I'm going to show you, and I'm going to go through them as Mike clicks through each one. I'm going to give you a little bit of analysis of each one of them. And so I've pulled some graphics from the comics of DC, kind of depicting what I think should happen. So here we have one from the 70s. This is kind of like a beatnik crew of a Justice League, but yet here we have, a black Superman. I think it would fit. Let's go to the next one. Look here. We have Justice Alliance of America. This is an alternate universe of the Justice League. Again, confirming what we think could happen. And wouldn't it be cool to see an alternate universe with this?
This Injustice, hello.
Come on. Just go to the next slide. I have a couple more. This is in Earth 2.
I love that shot.
This is the president secretly is Kal-El.
Whoa.
I'm just saying, this is Earth 2 DC Comics. All right, let's go to the next. I think we have just a couple more. All right, this is the Superman multiverse.
I like that, man.
Look how many Supermen there are in the multiverse. And, we do have some pretty awesome black dynamic characters playing Superman, Kal-El. It can happen. And I believe in it. So I think is that the last one, or I think we got any more? We got one more. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, that suit.
Dude, isn't that cool?
All day.
So this is an alternate universe as well. And this is Kal-El from Earth, I think, 602 or something like that.
Wow.
So there you go. And so that confirms my role for Michael B. Jordan. And I just wanted to make sure that we had some visual aid on why I picked Michael B. Jordan. I think he would be stellar.
That's sick, dude. You're starting to sell me, and I don't have a problem with that at all. I think since Henry Cavill is no longer here, I think they need to go a different route regardless, whether it's a younger actor or just
alternate universe.
Actor.
Get it away from that and just restart it.
It's a great pick. So I'm going to give my number 3, and I'm talking about a man who is actually already in the DC universe as we know it.
Okay.
And his name for Superman is Joe. Now I always get this confused. Is it Manganiello or Manganiello? People say it different ways.
Manganiello.
I've always said Manganiello,
Yeah,
so I'm going to say that. This guy is a beast. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at that man. So if we talk physique, I think he has the physique. But the fact that he's Deathstroke in the DCEU, he was in the post-credits scene.
He was.
In Justice League. But as we have seen, they're recasting Batman. They're clearly going to recast Superman. They don't care. Continuity, schmontinuity, that was the slogan of the X-Men universe. That's the slogan of the
Slogan.
Man, he has the size, and I think he has the talent. Every role I've ever seen this man in, he commands the screen. And I actually watched a 1-hour interview with him 2 weeks ago on my favorite network, Collider. His passion for comic books and Dungeons and Dragons is astounding.
Really?
Astounding. And his command just of that interview, I'm like, this guy can play Superman. And I see it. I feel it. Just look at him. I think he could. And picture with the beard, the black suited Superman. Picture that.
I'm done with that. I'm down with that for sure.
That's my number.
Sweet. See, is Mike coming in, or are we going to just keep rolling here? I don't know what's happening. Or he might come in. He said, I think.
I'll come in at the end. I'll be a little quicker.
Okay, Pumpkin.
I love Mike.
Awkward moment. Anyway. Moving along. All right, so my number 2 pick for Superman is Nicholas Hoult from the former X-Men universe. Ooh. Yes. Cyclops. Look at that. Could you imagine a young Kal-El?
Clark Kent, man. I see it.
You see it? So, right off the heels of X-Men, he is acting, and he has his acting, and he definitely has his comic book chops. I mean, he's been in 4 films already in the X-Men universe. Yes. And so the franchise is coming to a close this June, and Hulk could be a contender for the recruitment. Now, I love him as Cyclops. I love what he did there. But he could be so much better in a more darker, sinister role, I think, as Superman.
I could see Nicholas Hoult, man. He's probably out of all of these Superman actors, he's the most dynamic.
Yeah.
I think he can do the most as an actual actor, so
Yep.
I would love that. I really would.
Thank you.
So my number 2, I'm going back with the big broad guy.
Okay.
Last week, there was a rumor swirling around the internet that Armie Hammer was up for the role of Batman or Ben Affleck. And Bruce Wayne.
I can see that.
I can see it. But I've always seen him as Superman.
He looks
And
like
I'll
a
tell
good.
you
He's
why.
got the blue eyes,
He's got the charm,
and he's got the comb over.
He's got the comb over here. He's a good-looking guy, but his subtle humor in a movie like The Social Network and his suave in Call Me by Your Name. Every time I see him on screen, I think he is Superman. That is my
Really?
because he has this nature of I can be quiet, I can barely talk to Lois Lane, and then I can command. And he commands the screen when he wants to, man. This guy, mark my words, 5 to 10 years, he's going to win an Oscar. He
Wow.
will win an Oscar. That's how good he is. And he's getting cast in very important roles over the next 2 years, so watch out for him.
That's a dang good pick, bro.
He could be a really good Superman, man. I think he can knock it out of the park, so that's my number 2.
All right. So, are you ready for my number 1, Austin, for Superman?
Okay, give it to me.
A complete unknown.
Ooh, you're going the Henry Cavill route.
We often tend to focus on the actors in current pop culture right now, but forget how the original Superman star Christopher Reeve even got his iconic role. He was essentially an unknown. He was performing over in stage shows and plays and theaters before he was even picked up by Warner Brothers. Now, in the vein of the unknown actor, I think someone to merge the worlds of the famous to the unknown to play this legendary role is really the only way to cast the role of Superman, because the son of Krypton is an alien living in a foreign land, much like the actor to put on the cape and the boots.
Yeah.
Am I making sense here? So out there somewhere is an actor with those skills and the physique and the commanding ability, like you were talking about, to be able to be behind the camera. We just don't know his name yet. So you think of Christopher Reeve in 1978. His first ever major cinematic role was Superman, an unknown. Nobody knew who Christopher Reeve was until 78, unless you lived in New York and you were in the underground theater performing arts scene.
Okay, your first 2 choices were great. That's your best choice. Because to me that's Superman. Henry Cavill came out of nowhere. Christopher Reeve came out of nowhere. Every time I've ever seen Superman, it is a guy who you don't know him from anything. Therefore, he can embody the spirit of what it means to be Superman. That's a fantastic choice, and it probably beats my number 1. But I'm going to cheat.
Go for it.
I'm going to cheat my number 1. Bring back Henry Cavill.
Oh.
First of all, look at that picture.
Oh my gosh.
And second of all, this is the obvious choice to me. Bring him back to DC. He was never the problem. The issue was not Man of Steel, because I love Man of Steel.
Warner Brothers.
Yes, it's Warner Brothers. Every time I watch Man of Steel, I like it better and better. But Justice League and Batman v Superman, he was always underwritten. He was always underserved. And unless Warner Brothers quits the stupidity and brings him back, I don't want you guys to ever look at him and say he was the problem. That's why he's not Superman again. He was never the problem.
Yeah.
He was the studio 1,000%, and he will always be, to me, the best part of the early DC universe, just because of how good he was in the role. He was just underwritten, man. You look at a director like, even Man of Steel, and I love Man of Steel, Zack Snyder is not the best writer. He cannot write films very well. That's why he had to have help.
He's really good with cinematography, though.
Oh, he's phenomenal. His visuals are through the roof. You look at a movie like that, but imagine a Superman movie with Christopher Nolan at the helm with Henry Cavill as Superman. Just imagine how good he would be then.
If Nolan did a trilogy like he did with Batman. Where's my credit card? Do we have my credit card here? Just shut up and take it now.
Take my money.
Take it.
That's my choice.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, let's we're going to get Mike on towards the end of the show, and he's going to give us his top 3 of each. So we're going to go ahead and move on into Batman now. Now, we gave you our top 3 for Superman. Now let's kind of see what we got here for Batman. Now, when I say my number 3 for Batman, you probably are looking at the list over there. Josh Brolin.
Dude.
I say that because he's Cable, he's Thanos, he's everything.
It's a great choice.
And he's also a Goonie.
It's a great choice.
But how cool would it be? Could you imagine that, like a really like Frank Miller looking cowl and mask on him in a very dark and gritty Gotham role?
Picturing it. It's eating it.
And I think with the actor with some cinematic age and a little charisma could probably do a really big win here. I mean, you look at Joaquin Phoenix over in the Joker and that lead. How cool would it be to have an older, grittier, aged Batman, possibly with the storyline from Alan Moore or Frank Miller? As we go back and we look at Frank Miller's old, when he came out with The Dark Knight, which kind of respawned Batman as we know it. We went from campy, cheesy Batman to dark and serious and sinister Batman overnight when that came out.
Dude, imagine.
And he's already played Jonah Hex.
He's already been in the DC universe.
Three.
Imagine Josh Brolin's Batman versus Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I got chills.
I'm telling you, dude.
I got goosies, bro.
And his voice.
As the Batman voice, you don't even have to modify it, man.
I can hear it in the back of my head.
Wow.
Anyway.
So your casting of an older Batman that's freaking great.
Thanks.
So here's my number 3.
Okay.
Hear me out.
I'm hearing you out. I'm hearing you.
You may have only seen him in one franchise. This guy had it rough early in his career, being in the garbage Twilight franchise. Robert Pattinson had a rough go. When you start out, that's a good picture, by the way.
That is a good picture.
When you start out in such filth as that franchise, to work your way out of that and be a respected man in Hollywood is a very impressive task. Ryan Gosling did it after his early rom-coms, and now he's a superstar. Robert Pattinson, I think, is on his way. Over the last 2 years, I've been watching him in films be a completely different character in every single freaking one of them. Good Time plays a druggy older brother who takes his brother and robs banks. Fantastic movie. The Lost City of Z plays an explorer in the olden times who is searching for this lost city. There are 3 or 4 movies I could list off where every film he's a different character, man.
I could see the jawline, though. He's definitely, he's got
Did you see the concept art where he had the mask on?
I did see that. Was it Boss Logic that put that out?
Boss Logic. Yes, sir.
I did see that.
Looked good, didn't it?
Looked pretty darn nifty. I got to say that much.
And this is a guy that just continues to surprise me, continues to impress me. And here's the comparison I'll make before we move on.
Okay.
Nobody ever thought Heath Ledger would work as the Joker just because of the films that he had
That's very true, man.
And you look at Heath Ledger, and if there was such thing as like the internet as it is now, which there was the internet, but not as it is now, people would have been throwing fits because there were blogs, there were videos, you can look this stuff up. It was there. Heath Ledger is going to suck. Robert Pattinson could be the next. And I'm not saying he could be the next Heath Ledger, but he could be that next. Oh, he can't be Batman. Well, can he be Batman? I would like to see that.
I would like to see it. I would pay to see that.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so my number 2 for Batman. All right, so as we're rounding it out here, and it's one that you really wouldn't think, and he's already in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as of this summer, Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's great, man.
So, I mean, you look at Jake Gyllenhaal, he can look at the suave. I mean, wouldn't he be a great Bruce Wayne?
Yes.
I mean, so he has a certain side to him that could become dark, menacing, and gritty. And with his upcoming role as Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home this summer, he's already been introduced to the world of comics. And some say you may shrug your shoulders at the choice, and that's okay. I get that. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. But given the right mindset and opportunity, I think Jake could run with it and literally nail the role of Bruce Wayne.
You want to know who my favorite actor is?
Who's that?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
You like Jake Gyllenhaal?
My favorite actor working right now.
He's good.
From Prisoners to Enemy to everything I've ever seen him in, I said that man should be nominated for an Oscar. My favorite role of his is actually Nightcrawler, where I think is the ultimate thing of, oh, this guy could play Bruce Wayne because of that range.
Yeah.
You rarely see that in movies. So
wow.
That's a great pick. Yeah,
Thanks, man.
That would be my number one. But my actual number two is Taron Egerton, aka your boy from The Kingsman. Now, look at this guy. He's younger, right? He looks younger.
He's a British actor too, right?
30. He's 30. Because people have always been fan casting him as Robin. I'm like, guys, Christian Bale was 32 when he started playing Batman.
True.
This movie's coming out in 2 years. Boop. There you go. So I talked about range, but I think Taron Egerton, out of all of my picks, he has the most range out of any of them because he's been the guy, the action hero, but still kind of the sidekick in the Kingsman franchise. And this year, something completely different. He's playing Elton John in Rocket Man.
That's okay. That's him.
And there's already movie's not even dropped yet.
Buzz.
Dude, buzz. Oscar buzz.
Yeah.
Oscar buzz. So you get an Oscar-winning actor to play a young, and I'm saying a young Bruce Wayne.
This is Rami Malek's like his version. You know how he nailed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think this guy could go on and win the Academy Award this year. So
wow.
I think with that clout, and if Matt Reeves does want a young Batman, because that's what I'm hearing, he wants a younger Batman, I think Taron Egerton is the best choice for that because he can do the action. We've seen it. He can be in charge. We've seen it. All he needs is that one role to be an A-list celebrity, and I think this is that role.
Fan-freaking-tastic, Burke.
Thank you, sir.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to give you my final number one to play the role of Bruce Wayne Batman.
I love this.
Carl Urban.
Yes, I love this.
Not only did he play on Star Trek the reboot, but he'd been in Thor Ragnarok as Scourge. He is a great actor. Look at this guy, man. I mean, seriously, do I really need to explain anything about Carl Urban? He's one of the stars of Star Trek. I mean, Dredd. Yes, Dredd. I forgot Dredd. Good Lord have mercy.
That's your Batman.
That's your Batman. He can be serious, funny, but he has the build for the potential of Dark Knight. He has everything he needs. He has the comic intuitiveness, the science fiction glory. Dude, he was in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek reboots. Come on. He's amazing. Amazing as bones.
That's a great choice, man. That's probably the most out of the blue choice tonight, but that's actually the one that gets me the most excited just because of all of the different aspects that we've seen of him as an actor.
Dude, when he was Scourge in Thor Ragnarok, I didn't know that was Carl Urban until I read the credits.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this bald-headed guy? And it's like, he looks kind of familiar, but I don't know who he... Yeah. Oh, my God. It's Bones.
He's great, dude. That's a great choice,
man. Thanks, man. I do have one honorable mention.
Okay.
And I have to say this before you go, okay?
I love this.
Michael Keaton. All right? Imagine as an older aged Batman set in the same universe as Tim Burton's 1989 Batman film franchise. We're not talking Joel Schumacher crap. Yep. We're talking Tim Burton.
Yes.
He's aged. He's older. You know, we saw him as the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, so we know he's still got that grip. Hey, Pete. How you doing, Pete? You know, just that grit, you know. Oh, my God. And could you imagine, though, Keaton reprising that role?
Dude, picture a Batman Beyond with him as old Bruce Wayne and bringing in Taron Egerton as Batman Beyond.
Just his voice in Beetlejuice. I've come for your daughter, Chuck. It's just like, man, take my money now because I'm a huge Keaton fan. Always have been a Michael Keaton fan. All right, that's my one honorable mention. What's your number one?
Why do you want me to follow that? I can't follow that up.
You have to follow it up now. You have no choice.
Well, here is the man, and you know, if you would have asked me this 3 years ago, this pick would have been off of looks, but now I know he's a great actor. Richard Madden.
Oh.
So Richard Madden. Yeah,
dude. He kind of looks like Sebastian from Winter Soldier. Plays Winter Soldier.
He does a little bit.
Yeah.
There. I like that's also a good pick. Yeah. So, not the most range I've seen, but I've only seen him in 2 or 3 roles.
Okay.
But every time I've seen him from Game of Thrones, where he plays a king, which Batman has king qualities,
yes,
to Bodyguard, which he plays a secret agent action hero with a dark side to him. Who does that sound like? A secretive action hero with a dark side to him. And his gravitas consistently through however many seasons I'm in Game of Thrones for, and then one season of Bodyguard. Man, this guy's, and he's already an Emmy winning actor.
Yeah.
And he is electrifying on screen, man.
I know.
And he's actually in Rocketman too. He is his agent, I believe. And he looks like a completely different character with a completely different accent. And I'm like, this guy could be Bruce Wayne. Look at that man, dude.
I'm telling you.
Jawline.
He's got the je ne sais quoi, if you will.
So I think he could be a very different Batman than what we've seen, but a very good Batman. So
Yes.
that Richard Madden is my number one pick because he's great.
I want to give a quick shout out right quick to Brandon Lever, Clinton Fleming, Herbie Marin, Bobby Stamps, Ken Walking, Carlos Phoenix. We have Sean Hockney, Jason Bryant, John Giovanni Preto, and Lindsay Badger all hanging out in the chat room. We are doing our top threes of Superman and Batman. Who are the actors that's going to reprise these roles? Well, this is Team PopX's picks, and we got the last word from the man of the plan, Mr. Mike Ippolito. He's going to give us his top three for both of these as well. Mike, what's up, dude?
Can't wait.
I think your microphone's muted. There you go. There you go.
I'm not going to get too much into detail. These are just some that I kind of came off the top of my head. It's actually kind of a combination of what both you guys had said.
Okay.
You know, and so I'm just going to go right into it. My first one for Superman, I was going with James Marsden
That's a good pick,
from
dude.
the original Cyclops.
Yes,
from
the
X-Men.
original.
I think he's kind of got that Superman.
Oh, that's
look to
really
him.
interesting that we both picked Cyclops.
Yeah.
That is neat. I'll take that.
There's another one that actually I just came across recently in another wonderful DC show that I've been watching is Matt Bomber.
Mad Bomber, dude.
He's currently in DC's Doom Patrol.
He is.
Great show.
great.
I think he also would be, he has
Look at that
kind
chin.
of Calvo look to him
Look
a
at that
little
chin.
bit.
Yeah.
He's got a non-CG chin.
Yes.
So that would be some,
Mustache.
Make him a good choice. And my third one for Superman, let's go back to one of the originals, Brandon Routh.
Brandon Roth.
I thought I liked him in Superman Returns, and I would like to see him come back. As far as
He had a very mature
reprisal.
tone to his voice. He sounded
Yeah.
like a commanding Superman.
Yeah.
I
I had a chance to meet him one time, and he's a very tall individual.
Is he really?
He's kind of like that Christopher Reeve build, where he's a pretty big guy.
Christopher Reeve was like, what, 6'3"?
Yeah, he's about the same.
Yeah. Wow.
But I'm going to go right into my Batman ones.
Okay.
One that I came across, which is kind of was a rumor floating around, John Krasinski.
John Krasinski.
I thought that might be, and I know DC now mentioned that they're looking for like a mid-20s Batman, but I've changed this list about 5 times, so I had
love
to stop
that.
at one point.
I love John Krasinski as Batman.
So I think it would be a good idea.
Let's
And,
go.
Dude.
I know there's a chance he might be on the young side, but I think if you can,
Hey.
make him up a little bit more, why not go with the original Gotham, David Mazouz
Wow.
as the Batman?
I dig it.
That wouldn't be a bad idea because I think he's 18 or 19, so I'm sure with the makeup and stuff. I mean, he's supposed to portray I guess a 24-year-old Batman at the end of Gotham, so I'm sure they could pull it off.
Wow.
So, in my last one, I'm going back to the older side. This actor, he got a kind of a bum rap from Inhumans, Anson Mount. He's now in Star
Why
Trek
didn't I
Discovery.
think of him?
He's amazing in that show.
Good God, why didn't I think
he'd
of
be
him,
like
Dan?
A good older Batman. So,
Black Bolt returns as
yeah.
Bruce
That is
Wayne.
a great choice.
That is
I love that
that's a good one, dude.
Never imagine him as Batman, but my God.
Look at
yes.
him. He looks like a Bruce Wayne.
He kills it in Discovery. I think he's great. The minute I saw him come on screen when season 2 started, I'm going, this guy's awesome.
He plays Pike in Star Trek, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
He does.
Wow.
Wow. Good choices, my friend.
Lord, Mike, coming in and schooling us.
Dude, I'm telling you, that was insane. Good pick, bro.
That was great.
Well, we're going to get ready and wrap things up here for PopX for episode. What? Oh, Mike's got more.
Before we wrap up,
Oh,
I know
boy.
the last show, I came in with a last-minute news article.
Oh.
Another one.
Oh, no.
While the DC Comics cinematic universe continues to course correct, a lot of the remnants of Zack Snyder's influence are being removed from ongoing franchises, with the latest coming in the sequel or relaunch of Suicide Squad. According to a new report from Variety, Deadshot actor Will Smith will not be returning to Suicide Squad, apparently exiting the franchise entirely. And that came in 10 minutes ago.
I'm shocked. Because he was so good as Deadshot.
So there's that.
I got to process that for a minute. No Will Smith in Suicide Squad?
Nope.
And that sucks because he was so good and the movie was so not good.
Is Margot Robbie even coming back?
I heard she was, but who knew he was going to leave? Bill Will Smith was going to leave.
Wow. Can you see our reactions right now on camera? Me and Austin and Mike, we're like,
That sucks.
he was the best. I think his role was better than Margot Robbie.
He was great in that
He
movie.
was great. I'm sure more reports will come out why.
Oh,
but
my
it doesn't
gosh.
say. This just came out about 10 minutes ago, so
He's too busy being the great-looking genie in Aladdin. So there you go.
there's that.
The CGI blue turd of the screen.
Boy, Shrek.
Blue Shrek.
Well, he's here blowing up Atlanta with Bad Boys Forever.
Oh yeah, Michael Bay.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, wow. With that news, it's interesting though. Even everything that we're hearing right now with DC and Warner Brothers, it just seems like a calamity, like one big cluster. Just nobody knows what nobody's doing over there. Then you have Kevin Feige.
All of this.
All of this, and
Kevin Feige.
and then this.
Sitting there with his cup of tea and his stack of thousands of dollars.
like-
He's like, "What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?"
Marvel Entertainment, y'all. Yes.
The more you know.
And here's the thing too. I thought they were getting it together with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and that you got your head on your shoulders, and all of a sudden it's Aquaman 2, 17 years from now. Like, what are you doing?
Oh man, poor Warner Brothers. I feel bad for him, bro.
I do too.
I feel bad for him.
I love DC.
I love DC too. I mean,
love
I got exposed to Christopher Reeve's Superman as a child, and he was the first superhero that I ever saw that had superpowers.
You believe a man can fly? Everybody did.
Yeah, but now it's just went to crap. So
It's all.
there's that.
Kind of.
It does suck a lot. All right, so guys, we're going to wrap up the show here. Oh my gosh, what a jam-packed show we had here tonight. Austin, you ready to wrap us up, my friend?
Yes, sir. So
Do it.
I am Austin Burke. Honestly, Joe, this was one of my favorite shows we've done in recent memory.
Well, actually, you were the one that gave us the idea for this show.
The Batman and Superman.
Yeah,
one, but-
you were like, let's do the top 3 of who's going to replace the actors. And I'm like,
But you came in, man. Like, I would have liked the show if it was just that, but
Yeah.
you added in the Alita Battle Angel review, and something about that combination, just having two completely different aspects of this show, really worked for me, man.
it
So,
does. It works for me too. Yeah.
one of my favorite recent memory, I'm Austin Burke at the Burkinator on YouTube. Austin Burke, always doing movie and Netflix and comic booky reviews. Thank you
Fan
guys
Awards.
once again for watching this show. And Joe, thank you, man, for being an awesome host, as usual. The Burks,
Stop it.
They got it, baby. Come
Stop
on.
it. Okay, continue on.
Okay. But you guys can connect with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and Pinterest, all at PopXcast. Send us comments and suggestions via email at popxcast@gmail.com. And for future and past shows, visit our official website at www.popxcast.com. And we are part of an amazing network called the Gonna Geek Network. For all things even more geeky, head over to the GonnaGeekNetwork.com and check out some amazing podcasts on our home network.
Couldn't have said it best. We love you, Stephen, John Drew, and Stargate Pioneer, and Chris, and all you amazing cats over there at Gonna Geek. And so I am Joseph Burke, a.k.a. at Joseph Burke Arts. That's JOSEPHBURKEARTS all over the internet. And, of course, as always, hats off to the amazing, the stellar, the astounding, the amazing, spectacular, incredible Team Pop X. And so, Mike, thank you so much for your love and slides all the way up in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, Chekhov.
You're welcome.
Chekhov. Come back, Chekhov. We love you. I love Chekhov. Anyway, so joining us, let's see, I think it's March the 10th. We're going to be coming back with episode number 91. Captain Marvel film review and more. Are you excited? Because I know I'm excited to see Captain Marvel next Thursday night. So we're going to be doing it right after that, right after the weekend. So it comes out on the 7th. We'll be back here on the 10th. We'll be doing episode 91, and we'll be talking about all things Captain Marvel. I'm sure our brains, our minds, everything's going to be exploded, as this is going to be the only Marvel film leading up to Avengers Endgame.
Oh my God. We're almost there, aren't we?
We're almost there, bro. April 26th.
Oh my goodness.
April 26th, bro. You know what happens? You know what happens on Friday? It's March the 1st.
Ooh.
Oh
Gosh.
Oh yeah.
That means it'll be next month.
We're 2 months away, bro.
Freaking take this. Dude.
I'm
This
telling
is
you,
too
man.
much.
It's getting lit. Can you tell that we're nerds, guys?
We're geeking out.
We're just geeking out just a bit.
Avengers and Captain Marvel and Shazam and Pokemon and my God.
It just keeps going, bro. All right, so from all of us here at Team PopX, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. We'll see you next time right here on PopXcast. Get your geek on. From everyone at PopXcast, thanks for listening. Please make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/PopXcast, and click the follow button to get our live stream notifications. Drop us an email, popxcast@gmail.com. Be sure to check out this and more great content on the Gonna Geek Network at GonnaGeek.com. Get your geek on!